We're back with Handy at the Shandy. This is hour 2 of episode 26, and I'm Boring Jack. I'm joined by Adam the Fraud and Table Games James and a small glass of Angel's Envy Rye because Adam did such a good job of talking it up in the previous hour. So,
do you use it for cocktails at all?
I would think it's a little too good to use it in a cocktail, but like if I can get it comped, then sure.
I mean, the better the base, the better the cocktail, right?
I do agree with that, especially for something that's spirit forward. But this actually came up with Chris at Resorts World, where I was telling him, hey, we had the like Caribbean cask Balvenie scotch. He was like, oh, that makes a great old fashioned. And I was like, I would never stoop to putting that in an old fashioned. He's like, well, but we can comp it here. So should I do it? And I was like, of course, you know.
You're not stooping. It's not a stoop.
It was, yeah.
I love that we're a year into this and we're still just sticking with these names like Table Games James and Adam the Fraud and Boring Jack. And the reason why I bring that up is I got a story from listener of the pod, friend of the pod, Steve, because he was in Vegas a couple weeks ago with his wife and they're playing video poker. And she was like kind of learning. And she looked at Steve and she meant to say, what does Boring Jack say I should do here?
Okay.
But she said, what does stupid Jack say I should do here?
I'll take it.
And so for the rest of that trip, she kept making that mistake. And I don't know if it was on purpose or not.
I mean, that's what James and I call him on our private chat
Exactly.
that we have.
I've been called worse by better. So.
Stupid Jack. So anyways, if you when you send me a text that like shows that you got another like $1,000 or whatever, Kim just goes, stupid Jack.
Well, that is an interesting bit of feedback, but more formally, we'd like to start hour 2 here, getting into the listener questions and feedback we've received since we last recorded. And I'm going to start it off with one from Anthony Scarpaniti, who says, I'm thinking about getting into Ultimate X, but I am not a high roller and usually budget between $500 and $800 per day. I tend to stay at MGM properties or the Palazzo.
Hey.
Already great.
Yeah. Already great.
You're in. And have heard y'all talk about both being great options for video poker, but don't think I would be able to make my bankroll work with higher limits. Can you give me any advice? Also, do you tend to play jacks or better, bonus poker, etc.? And do you look at the pay table, what the pay tables are on the machine, or just play and not worry about it? Thanks.
Well, we know Adam would play a 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. So
Absolutely. Well, no, the Royal still has to be 4,000.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm not looking at anything.
Yeah. So on a $500 to $800 a day budget, yeah, your bankroll is not going to go that far at 25 cents. So I would say if you're looking to play, you know, for long periods of time, all the way down to nickels for Ultimate X, which if you are comfortable with bonus poker, you can find 6-5 probably out on the floor for nickels at a lot of the MGM properties. I'm not sure about Palazzo because I haven't really searched their like floor for video poker. I do think all of the Ultimate X that I've seen at Bar Luca does start at that 25%. Or 25 cents. I could be mistaken. Definitely in the high limit room, it starts there. Some of the lower end MGM properties, like my last trip when I was out there with J-Dubs, I was playing as low as nickels Ultimate X, but that wasn't bonus poker, but it still could get, you know, reasonable pay tables at Ultimate X at that level. So if you're looking to play for very long periods of time, nickels, you could do dimes if you're only going to play 1 or 2 sessions and maybe they're only going to be like an hour or 2 each. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I always say at like Ultimate X at quarters, you should be prepared in kind of the worst case to lose like $1,000 in 30 minutes. And that's kind of like the worst thing that could happen to you at 3-line quarters. With dimes, it'd be 40% of that. So you have to say, okay, well, the absolute worst thing that's going to happen to me here at dimes is that I'm just going to be out $400 in 30 minutes. If you're okay with the session, you know, you have 2 bad sessions on the day and you really only got to gamble a couple hours that day, it should be fine, right? Like, because, you know, you kind of have to parlay the chances of, okay, I can lose 400 really quick. But what are the chances that happens twice on the same day, right? Your risk of ruin's a little lower. So I think as long as you're not trying to sit and play for 8 to 10 hours on a given day, Dimes' 3-line is probably fine. But if you are really trying to get some longevity in, start at nickels and see how it works, right?
Yeah, and it's still 500 to 800 is still a healthy video poker budget. So you could even do that and then say, all right, end of the day, I'm just going to switch back to single line, which is what I'll start and end the day with typically, just kind of ease in and out of the day. So also an option too.
The thing I'll say about nickels, even that we're kind of treating nickels as if it's 3-line nickel Ultimate X, as if it's like the absolute bargain lowest thing you could be playing, it's still $1.50 a spin at 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like real money's still changing hands.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of get a feel for it if you like it. Mm-hmm. Next bit of feedback is from @JeffM2, and he made the mistake of sending this to me, so I'm actually surprised that it ended up in our notes here. But he said, just got back from a long trip with approximately 30 sessions of video poker. Literally only 3 sessions were winners, so Anthony, pay attention here. 26 sessions for where I lost anywhere from 18 to 300 plus. Of course, the 30th session ended with a 5x multiplier on a royal. So the trip ended up.
Congratulations.
But prior to that, congrats.
Prior to that Deuce's Wild player. I don't know.
Prior to that big hit, I was left asking, assuming your next loss for the trip is the same, which is worse? Massive losses almost offset by big wins, leaving you a few grand in the hole, or just death by a million cuts where, no matter what you do, you're cashing out for less than you bought in. Also, make James answer last because I already know what that dopamine fiend's answer will be.
I mean, I'm going to answer first, but I think I probably have the same answer as James, where I would much rather have things go very poorly, but then get a big hit that leaves me only down a couple of grand, than just bleed out a couple of grand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anyone's going to answer differently than that, because I mean that's why we play is to get that big win.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that's the way I'm going to answer, but I could see someone being like, if I'm there for a very long trip, like I don't want the first 4 days out of the 5 days just be like, oh man, this is brutal.
That's fair.
And then
That's
the
a
last
good
day,
point.
like, hey, I won most of it back. Like I'm still going to just be kind of in a shitty, but like if I were to, let's say I were to go out for 5 days and I lost $1,000 every day, like those aren't going to be awful days, but I'm going to be able to look back and be like, you know what, I played
That's
for a
a
long
good point.
time, right? So I could see why someone would pick the other answer. I just don't think people that would pick the other answer are going to start a fucking podcast about gambling. I'd like to know what Jeff's answer is. I'm going to ask him on the X.
But yeah, I made that Deuce's Wild comment because a 5x multiplier you can't get at any of the games we play. So that was the little Easter egg there. But
Speaking of Easter eggs, Rob Brumfield writes in, catching up on the podcast during my walk, thought I would share my favorite Vegas Easter eggs.
Thank you.
No particular order. The original mint facade exposed on the stairs to Whiskey Liquor Up.
I think that was a favorite of 360 Vegas Marks.
Nice.
He liked that. You could see the original like mint brick wall or whatever.
The original fountain at Golden Gate High Limit. The original slot machines at Golden Gate Lobby.
I've seen those.
Berlin Wall at Main Street.
Yeah, I knew that one. And this next one.
Churchill's snooker table at Main Street.
That was up on the second floor, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I was going to say I like Churchill. I'm not one way or the other, but I'm fascinated by him. So I'm surprised this is not one that I've been to yet.
Yeah. Spotting the bow ties at Fontainebleau.
It's a good one.
We did. Us not coming up with that is a little embarrassing because we were like, oh, what if a property hid some cool stuff around for you to find?
Yeah.
It's like one just opened that was famously doing that. But yeah,
and
whatever.
I'm talking about like Mickey Mouse and like Disney's favorite for like
The
hidden
same
Mickeys, like being in the design. It's like the exact same thing. And I like hotel design. So yeah, I'm kicking myself.
Good work to us. Yep.
The rat plaque at Venetian.
Don't know anything about that.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Gonna find out.
Is it the Rat Pack or is it just actual rats?
No, 4 out of 5 dentists don't like rat plaque.
Right.
Blarney Stone at the D.
Mm-hmm. Didn't that get stolen at one point?
It did, yeah.
I don't know what came of that.
Yeah. And playing along with using the password at the Mob Museum Underground.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's a good one.
I'm always a little torn on that because it's like I want to have a sense of whimsy, but I also just want to go to the bar. And so it is hard to weigh those two things sometimes. I'm less whimsical than I think.
Isn't it like just on the website though?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Right. Like it's not like you get there and it's like, oh man, I really got to get in this bar. I can't pull up my phone.
Well, yeah.
And
I know.
But
also,
also, like, I wonder, like, how long would they let someone struggle out there without the wrong path? You know, at a
Hang
certain
on, I'm
point,
not
I'm
really
like,
getting any service. I only have like
just
one
get in.
bar.
Yeah, just get in, man.
this is perfect for you, Jack. You like everything on the.
You're asking the guy like through the door. You're like, "Do you have T-Mobile?" Like,
Right.
What's the Wi-Fi password? Obviously, of the three of us, I had the least Vegas knowledge, and so a lot of these I did not know about. But I am going to be staying 2 nights downtown next week, so I might go to a couple of these. And plus, I'm with my dad, which we'll talk a little bit about here towards the end of the second hour, and he's really into kind of the old Vegas-y stuff. So I think this will be great.
Cool.
next up from Tom Newell, he emailed in to ask, and by the way, you can email the podcast at handyattheshandy@gmail.com. And he asked, Breaking the Slot Code, a book by Ben Rosenthal. It has a chapter titled Ultimate X Video Poker. Is the information accurate? And so, first of all, Tom, how dare you write in asking about a recently published AP slots book, implying that I or any of us would have read it? But to answer your question, I'm going to say yes, the information is accurate. I think this is from Huntington Press, which is Anthony Curtis's publishing company. And I would trust that the information in there is accurate. Next question.
We gotta grok it first.
Yeah,
At Grok, is this true?
Yeah,
we'll-
that's what we are right now. Oh, Tom, I'm so mad now.
Next question from Jeffrey Bobbiars. Says, hey guys, love the show. At some point during the trip, even legends like you three, need to take a break to eat. Do you ever go to places where you can eat at the bar and keep the video poker going? Or do you like to keep meals as a true break from gambling? If you do play during meals, where are your go-to places or places that you'd recommend? I know the Tavern at Fontainebleau and the Front Yard at Ellis Island. Both are places that you can eat and play video poker, but wasn't sure of any other good spots. I forgot about Ellis Island and that being an option. I did remember the Tavern, but not Ellis Island.
And of course, the quesadilla bar at the M.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've only eaten at two video poker bars in Vegas, and one was Ellis Island. And so the other one, this is not going to come as a surprise to our listeners, but the other is the Cosmo Sportsbook, and you can order direct to your seat from Lardo and Hattie B's upstairs, I think, are the two. So me and my friends got banh mi's at one point delivered directly to us at the video poker bar there, and got to just eat sandwiches while we played.
Why have we not done that yet?
Well, we have. You just
we have
as a group. Yeah, What do you
Okay.
mean? I don't. I'm in the collective us.
On the next trip, we're all there. We have to go.
Chicken tendies and
Yeah.
video pokers. Like what?
Yeah.
What else do you need?
Let's do it.
Does Win allow it at Charlie's?
At Charlie's,
I would
yes.
imagine so. Yeah.
That was the place that I was going to say that I've done this the most. Is if I'm staying at Wynn and I'm going down for lunch, especially if it's like a solo trip or if it's just Kim and I, then we'll try and find two places there and play and eat at the same time. But I would say the vast majority of meals for me are going to be a break from gambling. I mean, my guess is only lunch would be a time that I would say, well, I could eat a quesadilla and play some video poker or this burger or this salad. I think, especially in Vegas, I want my dinners to be nicer or an experience that's different from gambling. And breakfast, I'm unlike some of the other people on this call, where breakfast I really just want to just give me a bagel from
A bagel tower.
Give me a bagel tower from Starbucks and I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think one other place I've done it was downtown Grand at their Furnace Bar, but I think that's because there were so few people in there that they didn't care. I don't know if it was like I just got
Did you get a hot
slice
dog?
of pizza from Pizza Rock, brought it over, and no one said anything. So like, they were just happy to have a customer. And I've done that a couple times. But I think this is why I like the food halls, if you will. So like Park, Cosmo, even Aria, Resorts World certainly, where there's just a quick but good food to eat right off the casino floor. Aria is a little bit more of a walk, but where you can just get something quick that's really nice and then head right back down to the casino.
There's going to be more food halls
Great.
than casinos without them soon, I think, especially with MGM announcing that all their buffets are going away. So like, I can't imagine that they're not going to try to do something like that at Bellagio with the buffet space there, given that they've been so long maligned for not having good casual options.
Agreed. Thank you, Jeffrey. John Lowry wrote in, gentlemen, 2 thoughts from the 24 episodes. One Easter egg that I do enjoy in Vegas are all the places they hide bow ties at Fountainblue.
See, we're
John,
getting
we
it from
covered
both
that
sides.
already.
Missed this.
Jesus, John.
This?
How? Come on, man.
We just covered this. How did you not know?
Get caught.
And something we pack for Vegas and just Vegas. We have 2 small USB powered humidifiers that you just put in a glass of water. It helps with those horribly dry and congested sinuses.
All right, you regained some points with us, John, because that actually is a really good idea. That I keep forgetting to pack like little items like that are just going to make the stay a bit better.
And I've seen ones that are pretty similar to this, where you just put like a water bottle upside down in them, and they fit like any kind of standard water bottle, and you can make a humidifier out of that.
Oh, just being surrounded by Fiji water, like in your space.
Well,
That's
I
great.
saw this on like a coin show vlog, and they did have a Fiji water bottle upside down in it, and they were like, just to be clear to anyone watching, we like drank the water and then we filled it up with sink water and are using it for a humidifier. We're not spraying the Fiji everywhere. But Adam,
if you stay a wind, you gotta put the Fiji water in it. Absolutely.
For sure. Another shout out to John. I will be spending a little bit of time seeing him. He's from Pennsylvania and going to be coming through the State College area for our big arts festival. He reached out,
nice.
so I don't think we're going to be gambling together, but we're definitely gonna hang out a little bit. So I'm excited.
Love John. Yep.
Next up, Jamie Perry says, for Jack. Well, thanks, Jamie. He says, I know this is obvious to you guys, for sure. But for me as a new video poker player, I just don't understand why 4-of-a-kind 2s, 3s, and 4s pay more than 4-of-a-kind 5s through kings on double-double or triple-double or some of these high volatile games. Are the odds not the same? Or am I completely mistaken? Jamie Perry. And he adds a parenthetical postscript that says, at 67 years old, I'm the oldest dude in your audience, but living vicariously through you young guys.
Well, Jamie, I don't think that's true. I think you're right in the middle, actually.
I would love for people with the bona fides to reach out and say, no, I'm older, and put youngster Jamie in his place. But I thought this was a really interesting question, because I had this same idea before, where it's like, okay, I understand. And I guess I'll clarify by saying this isn't just about double-double and triple-double in those games. The, in some sense, very first variation of Jacks or Better is bonus poker, which does add these categories. So if you go one step up from Jacks or Better, you get to bonus poker, which pays a little extra on the 2s, 3s, and 4s, and then a little bit more extra on the 4 aces. And it's like, yeah, I get the aces. It's like the most powerful, iconic card in the deck. Of course, 4 aces pays extra. And then you'd expect the next category to be like Jacks, Queens, and Kings, right? My guess is that when they designed the game, they first tried it like that, with paying extra on aces, Jacks, Queens, and Kings. And the math just doesn't work, because you hold a ton of singleton king, singleton queen, singleton jack hands, unpaired high cards. You hold all the time, whereas you would never hold just like 2-4 or just a 3, unless you're that one guy that James played next to. But
I think that was Dan. I think that was front of the pod, Dan. But yeah.
Yeah. My guess is the math works out better if they pick from the other side of cards that are near ace. And so they were just like, okay, what comes after aces, 2s, 3s, and 4s, we'll just make those the bonus category. But no, to your point, other than the fact that you hold aces and high cards more frequently than you hold low cards, they're the same probability to hit.
Now, isn't there a version, aces and faces? What's that? Because I've heard that before.
And yeah, and there's another one that I think is similar to that, and I don't know the distinction between them, so I don't have a good answer. But there's another one that's pretty similar to that called super double-double bonus that pays more on like kings through jacks with a king through jack kicker and stuff like that. And so there are variations that pay more on face cards, certainly. But they're a newer development in some sense, and that they're probably like 30 years old instead of 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll get Ernie Moody on the show and see what he has to say about this.
100%.
Ben Rosenthal, who just wrote that book. Maybe he can chime in. All right. Thank you, Jamie. Quick fire questions from Matt from OKC. Number 1, appropriate speed setting on video poker. I say 2.
1, slowest only.
Slowest only.
Yeah. If you're playing any faster, you're a maniac.
2 single line, 1 for multi-line games.
No.
Always do the slowest. I do know people who will play on the fast speed, but then if they get dealt something and they want to see it come slower, then they'll change it in the middle of the hand.
Okay.
I'm the other way around. I'll play 1, and if I get dealt nothing, like it's a full throwaway hand, I'll do the fast spin to get rid of it.
Thousand hand video poker, we will have the option where you can do half speed. Just
Perfect.
FYI.
Perfect.
Just all 5,000 cards come out one at a painstaking time.
Yep. These have not been very quick fire so far. Number 2, table games, full table or one versus dealer.
One versus dealer for me.
Full table.
I'm going to say one versus dealer as well.
It's close. If you have
With
to
no
choose
comment.
between these two exact extremes, it's close. But yeah.
And finally, 3, rideshare or cab. I say cab from the airport, rideshare most other places.
Exactly.
Yep, 100%. 100p, if you will. And really, it's just because I don't know the pricing. If there were more signs that were like, if I were to leave Cosmo and I knew like where I was going, what the cab was going to be, then I think I would do cabs even more often.
Yep.
But it really comes down to I know what the cab is going to be from the airport. Even if it's a couple dollars more, I know, boom, it's quick, boom. But I don't like that risk of, what if it's $10 more, James? You can't risk that.
Another thing for me is that if I'm sitting at the video poker bar and I'm trying to get to the next location, I don't want to have to go wait for a cab. I would rather look at the Uber timings now and then know, do I have to leave the bar now or can I call an Uber and then play a little longer and then hit the restroom and then my Uber will be ready and stuff like that. And so just like if I could see the cab line from like a little periscope at the bar, that would also change things for me in addition to the pricing. But it's just like, it's so nice to be able to know exactly when the car is going to come pick you up.
Yeah.
I
so
think
cab line, periscopes, we got to add those in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, I feel rideshare is so popular right now that there are no cab lines. Like I feel like very rarely do I go out and I see a line for cabs. Like you can get one real fast most places, but I'm going to pay attention to that more.
Well, that's it for the questions from our audience. Again, hit up these losers on Twitter. Hit up me on our email. And I think before we get to a brief preview of James's upcoming trip with his dad, I'm going to try to finish out as best as I can my World Series of Poker trip report.
Ooh, and if you did not hear the first part of it, you need to go back to hour 1.
So yeah, otherwise you're going to just be jumping right in.
Yeah, you got to learn. You got to learn about those first 3 days. That took an hour to get through.
So you're now joining me at Wednesday morning, my last full day in town. Ryan is with me through Thursday. We're on the same flight back to Minneapolis together, but Ben leaves today, Wednesday, after breakfast. So at this point, I get down to the Chandelier Bar Wednesday morning, and I had only ever seen one 4-tour Royal on this trip thus far, and obviously did not get any pleasing result on that. And I started the morning of this last day in town with a 4-tour Royal on 3x, 12x, 3x. I have 18x in total multipliers. I get 4-tour Royal. And the card that I'm missing is indeed the 5th card. So I was, for a split second in time, live for an 18 grand Delt Royal.
I mean, that's a DEF CON for sure.
If you play on the lowest speed like I do, your brain actually does get like a brief split second to appreciate, like, oh, this looks really good. Okay, that's a 5 of hearts when the rest are Royal Club cards or whatever. Nothing happened on the deal or the draw to get me a Royal Flush, for up to 12 grand. That's fine. Soon again after, I got 4-tour Royal on 2-1-1, whiffed that one as well. But I've been showing the results to Duffy and James via text. And let me just say that...
Yeah, why am I not on this call?
I think they are more interested in getting the I almost hit something, but I didn't, haha, text than you are. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but
You've mentioned before that you don't like it when you're on a group chat of people just sending random shit.
That's not true. Okay, we'll hash this out later.
We'll roll the tape.
It's just people I don't know. I don't care about what their plans are.
We need to start a WhatsApp group for these
absolutely.
poker near misses, and then Adam will approve.
Actually, let's do Telegram so I can start getting more random people, bots messaging me.
Throughout this trip, and this morning especially, James and Duffy have just been pestering me the entire time about coming out with them for this trip they're doing in July. And I've been doing a great job at just ignoring it wholesale, not paying it any lip service or that I even read it. And so they started taking odds and bets on what it would take to even get me to acknowledge that they're asking me to come out to this trip. But I then again got 4-tour Royal. I only had 3x on the bottom line and just a 1x on the other two.
Now, this is 3 in
This is 3 in an
2
hour.
hours.
Yeah.
What are the odds to get dealt 4 to the Royal?
Oh, I should know it, but I don't. Do you want me to
It
look it
is
up right
one
now?
in 2,764.
So more often than dealt quads. For every dealt quads you get, you should get about 2 dealt 4-duo royals.
I mean, that's what the Detroit Free Press is saying in the AI
What?
overview of
Is that
Google. So
Mitch
that's what I'm going
Albom
with.
talking about this? What are you talking about?
But that sounds about right.
See, on this one, I have 311 running. I again got 4-duo royal, just missing the last card. So it's like, shit, could have had a 5K dealt royal. But the last card this time gave me a dealt flush. And it's like, I'm still playing the bonus poker where flushes give you 11x on the next hand. And it's so painful to throw away a hand that's guaranteeing you 11, 11, 11 on the following hand. But obviously, it's wildly in your favor to go for the royal flush here. And indeed, I do. And I had already sent the before picture this time to James and Duffy to be like, hey, look what I'm throwing away at my quest to get a royal here. And then they didn't hear back from me for a little bit. And James was like, and it's because I hit the royal on that singular 3 times multiplier for $3,000. Instantly, I'm now up on the trip for video poker. And indeed, even counting my poker losses, I'm up on the trip because, like I said, I had some friends buying some of my action. And it's a handy at the shandy.
Woo woo! This is where we really do need the some sort of sound cue.
You saying woo woo was well enough, Adam.
Now we need like the Baja Men or something, you know. Yippee-i-yo.
Starting the morning off with a big handy while I'm drinking my Campari and orange juice was just a great way to start the day, because now it's my last day in town, and I went from down on the trip to like up on the trip. And this is that's awesome. As we've talked about, that's like the number one thing you can do. And then so we meet up for some breakfast at the Henry. Ben comes down and joins us before he skips town. And they kind of put us in a back room there that I didn't know existed, but it's more like a front room, more near the doors that let you enter the hotel, right near the Henry. And I didn't really know it existed over there, but it's bright and sunny, and the Henry's a great place to eat. The pancakes are no longer on the menu, and that's like the one thing I always get there, because I think they, compared to the other breakfast joints, actually do an exceptional job on their pancakes. But I asked if I could order them anyways, and indeed I ordered and received them, so that was good.
Okay.
There you go.
So that's the Nitro Sencha is gone, but the pancakes are gone but not forgotten. That's my Cosmo food update for you.
Okay.
Ben leaves. Ryan and I get back to playing video poker at the Chandelier Bar. And I see one of my favorite bartenders there, Cody, is on the left side of the bar. So we kind of like wait for a chance to move over to that portion and make the switch. At this point, I also decide, hey, I'm up on the trip now. It's my last day. I'm going to make the switch to my usual double bonus poker.
Nice.
Volatility and variance be damned. House edge be damned. We're going back to what I want to do. This is one of those things I always like to point out, because people very often, probably not our audience, but you see this on a lot of like the Vegas Mat stuff. Everyone's always just like, you hit a $3,000 hit on your last day in town and you didn't just pack it in and leave a winner. Like, what are you doing? And instead you like ramped it up to double bonus. It's like, you must be insane. And a lot of people kind of have that view. And I like sharing the counter examples, because here I had gotten like a straight holding a single king. And so I had 8x, 2x, 1x running from the bottom up. And I got dealt 3 aces. And I'm like, oh, please, God, I just switched to the game where 4 aces pays twice as much as it otherwise would. And I've got this 8x multiplier here. Let me hit it on the 8x. Not only do I get a 4th ace on that 8x for $1,600, I get another 4th ace on the 2x for another $400, putting me just over the threshold for another handy at the shandy.
Yippee-i-yo.
I was waiting for it.
And so I'm now gotten $5,000 in jackpots this morning and afternoon. Cody makes us this fantastic, like heavily, it takes him like 20 minutes to make this drink. I don't know if he has like a job or what he does, but he was like painstakingly crafting this like smoked, spiced brandy old fashioned or whatever the hell he made us. It was incredible. And so Ryan and I are sipping on comped, fancy smoked drinks. I'm hitting jackpots. Ryan is well up on poker. I think he won like $3,000 the night before in that last poker session with Ben, in addition to doing well in the poker tournament. So he's pretty well up for the trip. Maybe not so much on the video poker, but he's doing well as well. He has to watch me get these big jackpots, but that's whatever. He can deal with it. Now that I've got all this cash, why don't we hop in a car to Resorts World, and I got to go see Maddie at Resorts World Bar one last time.
And why did you decide to cab? Because of the heat? Because you didn't have as much time?
Because I didn't have as much time. One thing I was
flush
actually
with cash. He didn't care
True,
anymore.
One thing I was a little bummed about is that we had a 5 p.m. dinner booked for the two of us at Maroon at Sahara. And I was pretty excited. Like I said, this was an anticipated restaurant opening. But 5 p.m. seems really close when you're drinking a spiced brandy old fashioned at 2 p.m. at the Chandelier Bar. You're like, I just don't have that much time until dinner. And so, yeah, we did that for time saving reasons. And I said, you know what, Ryan? The cab's on me.
Not rideshare.
No, it was a ride share. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was an Uber. Yeah. Sorry. I did lie. And I'm sorry. Resorts World, nothing much of note happens other than Ryan gets dealt 3 aces with 8x, 8x, 8x running.
Ooh.
And so he's got 6 spots to try to hit that 4th ace, and he hits it on the Stone River, the absolute last spot. Ooh. He nails the 4th ace for $1,600.
Nice.
And sneaks out of there. And so now I think at this point, that hit coupled with a $750 quad he got that morning, I think he's now up on video poker slightly, in addition to being well up on poker. So it's
So that's like the trifecta: tournament poker, cash game poker, and video poker.
And video.
He should have played. He should have played
video
3-card poker.
V poker. Mm-hmm.
Well, so one thing we did try to do after dinner was play some Pai Gow poker. And so we'll get to that in a sec, but I want to talk briefly about how this dinner at Maroon went. We left Resorts World at like the absolute last chance we could and still walked to Sahara on time. So we got there right around 5. I was not super impressed by this restaurant. So what we ordered the pepper shrimp, the green mango salad, the barbecue Brussels sprouts, and then we split a 12-ounce New York strip. The 12-ounce New York strip was like $125. So like not an inexpensive steak. My take on it was the shrimp. It was like these long prawns that were the full animal, basically, like all the skin and shell or whatever you want to call it was on there. And so all the seasoning was on the outside. And so when you kind of crack open the skin and pry the meat out, you're just eating shrimp meat, it felt like. So it just, right. I wasn't getting as much out of it as I thought I could. The mango salad was the best of the 4. It had like okra and some other interesting stuff, but it was more interesting and novel to me than it was good. And I think a lot of times I find things that are interesting and novel to be good. And in this case, I kind of didn't. And then the steak was all just like jerk seasoning and char and not a lot of like beef flavor, which is kind of not what you're expecting out of an expensive steak. And the Brussels sprouts were just kind of underdone. Like sometimes places just cook the shit out of their Brussels sprouts and that's not good either. But this was more on the other side. So just like everything was just a little like, I'm just not super impressed. And maybe other people have a different take on it, but I was actually a little bit bummed there.
Worst meal of the trip?
Well, I don't know. It's like, how do you compare it to eating just like 2 double doubles and then like a small portion of the fries that you ordered? It's like, that's in some sense not better, but it was way better. Like, I don't know.
Did this take the place of Bizarre Meat? Is it the same spot?
Yeah, it's in that spot. It's the ambiance there is really cool. I'll give them that. And then like after they take away your spoiler alert, wee woo for anyone that's going to go to Maroon, but after they take away your appetizer plates and cutlery, they say, pull out the drawer in the table in front of you where you find your dinner set. And everyone's like, oh, I didn't notice, it's like this little charming bit.
Magic.
Like, I didn't notice there was a drawer here this whole time. And then
there's a white rabbit in there.
So I thought the ambiance in there was really cool. They did a really good job, like reupholstering the Bizarre Meat place to make it more like even more dark and wooden and reds than it otherwise was. So we did head back to Cosmo after this, and we did look for a place to play Pai Gow, but they only had one table open, and it was mostly full, and the clientele there was the type that would give Adam pause. And so, but they did have 2 chairs immediately, like what you had at blackjack table, what you would call first base. There were 2 chairs open there. And I was like, we should probably just go play some Pai Gow and go try to sit at those 2 spots. And as I approached the table, I saw like those 2 chairs were actually only in front of one playable Pai Gow spot, and someone was already playing that spot because they were playing a couple. And it was like, so even if we wanted to come in and ask them, so even if we were going to come in and be like, oh, apologies, I see you're playing 2 spots, can we come play? There wasn't even enough for the both of us to play in that scenario either. So we just canned it and went back to Shandy to play some video poker. And this was Wednesday night, so the Knicks Spurs game 4 is going on, where they had that just absurd comeback after being down like 37 at the half or whatever it was. I don't recall, but I had an okay-ish view from the chandelier bar over to the sports book where I could at least keep track of the score and who had possession and what they were trying to do and stuff like that. And it was kind of crazy when
I can imagine.
Anunoby hit that tip in at the end there. So I don't know. It's always fun being in Vegas for the NBA Finals, and we very often are when we go for the World Series of Poker. So that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, at the chandelier bar, a guy next to me was smoking a cigar and just hotboxing the entire bar. I normally don't get bent out of shape about someone smoking next to me. Like it doesn't bother me that much like it does a lot of other people. But I felt like I was smoking his whole cigar, basically, with how much of it I was breathing in. And it wasn't just me. The bartenders like noticed and were like, they set up a fan over near their like water cooler on the other side of the bar, just like aimed directly at him, trying to keep the smoke out of their space. Like as soon as he did that, they're like, oh, it's time to turn that fan on. So I don't know. This was the first time I was actually just like, this guy should be shot. Like you can't do this.
It actually does bother me a lot. I'm like, I feel like it's like you complaining about people who have no purpose or awareness, like when they're walking. I'm like, I feel like smoking does impede my enjoyment and my health of everything that's going on, and so to not know or like your impact on people around you, especially like if you're smoking a beefy cigar and the smoke's
burning the shit
impacting
out
that,
of it.
and it's impacting that many people. I feel like, I don't know, I'd be like, oh, let me back off or go somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, we'll get some hate mail for that. Maybe not. Probably not.
That was basically it for the rest of the night. I at some point moved back to playing bonus poker because I was getting 0 4 of a kinds. I continued to get 0 4 of a kinds, which I don't know, in some sense justifies the switch, but not too much to come from that. Thursday, the last morning in town, I end up with Ryan at the sportsbook bar again, and I start playing. I'm not going to play on my card because it's like the last day there. And Ryan and I had a little bit of a discussion about this where he's like, you're here on like an offer. They know you're here. Why aren't you using your card? And it's like, well, I'm here on a 5-night stay and I've already used my card on 5 different days. And so like, I don't know how their system works, but I don't like, this seems reasonable enough to me that I don't want to risk it, just putting in a little bit of play and hurting my ADT. But if I knew it was going to be a Trip Theo thing, then obviously I would do something differently. But
I'm surprised you played. You usually don't play that last day. Is it because Ryan was there?
Yeah. And our flight out wasn't till like, I don't know, we had a 2 p.m. flight, so we didn't have to leave until noon and blah, blah, blah. But what I did play is I played dime spin poker 9 lines, and I hit something decent pretty early on at bonus poker. So then I kicked it up to triple double spin poker 9 lines. And the game is noisy as hell. Ryan is like, I have no idea if you're winning or losing because it makes the like
Every time.
Yeah, every single hand, just like something happens on one of those 9 lines every hand, and it makes this cacophony. So I don't know. I was having a great time because
it's still $4.50 a press. So
yeah, $4.50 at times. Yeah, it wasn't small change, but I think lost like $40 on the session and was like, well, I could put in another 100, but that would ruin the perfect 1,000 extra in cash I have, so I won't do it. We go to the airport. I get my Panda Express. It's all good. We get home. Trip report's done. So now the question is, what happened on the trip net? Like I said, I had 1,000 more in cash. What's not even true. I actually already only had 900 in cash more than I came with. And so I could have talked myself into spending a bit more that morning if I had wanted to, because I wasn't at a round number. But that 900 in cash doesn't take into account that like I paid cash to enter the World Series of Poker tournament, but that I only had half of my action myself and stuff like that. And I left a bunch of pretty generous cash tips. Not to toot my own horn, but just
Vegas influencers will be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly. But I just mean that like it wasn't like I only lost $100 in cash tipping this trip. It was well more than that. So I think probably net my overall gambling winnings were probably more like 2,000. But I was coming home with $900 more in cash than I left with, which for such a long trip was just fantastive.
Yeah, that's great.
On the other hand, I had to hit $5,000 in hand pays at the end of the trip to get to that point. And so it's kind of like,
could have been a little bit the other way. I mean, I'm shocked you don't know
for sure.
I'm shocked you don't know the exact number, knowing that you have to be keeping, like, you're getting W-2s all year.
Yeah,
like, you should be responsible to be keeping
the
these
IRS
numbers.
has like 3 people working for it at this
That is
point,
true.
and projections are for it to be down to 2 by next year. So I'm not really that worried that they're coming after me for my gambling winnings. But yeah,
They will now. This sit in the airwaves.
yeah.
Well, thanks for that trip report, Jack. It's getting me even more excited. At this time next week, I will be in Vegas. So next week is my trip with my dad. My dad has not been out to Vegas in the last 12 years, so it's going to be kind of a fun time to go. And this is going to be a little different than my normal trips, at least the trips that I've been going on lately. We're going to be staying at Circa the first 2 nights, and they're on that summer deal. It's $400, and it got us a 2-night stay and $100 beverage credit, $100 dining credit, and a day bed at Stadium Swim.
Ooh,
And that was
Dad
all
just
resort
hitting the day bed.
father-son day bed.
and all the resort fees and taxes, which we're probably going to be the only father-son duo. But I still booked it because I want to at least go out, check it out. I got the morning time. My dad's a huge Yankees fan, and the Yankees are actually playing at 10:35 a.m. Pacific. So I think at the very least, we're going to go out and watch some of that game, which will be pretty cool.
And before it gets blisteringly hot. So that's nice.
Yeah. It's going to be like 112 minimum, like that whole fucking week, it looks like. We are seeing Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. That was the main reason why we chose this time. So that's Wednesday night. It's 8 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. So I think we're going to try and get there around 7 so we can kind of walk around and see inside Sphere for him. That'll be pretty fun. Just booked an Allegiant Stadium tour because he said, "Hey, I want to see Allegiant and Sphere." He's like, "We don't have to go in. I just want to kind of see them." And I'm like, "Dad, like, what am I going to do? Just take it. I'll show you a picture." No,
I've heard good things about the stadium tour too.
Exactly. So we're going to do the stadium tour. It's not cheap. Stadium tour is like $70, but we're in Vegas. Everything's going to be
you get to see areas that you otherwise would never get to pay to access in your life because it's like $20,000 a game to go to one of those, right?
Right. So that'll be pretty cool. We're doing that on Thursday. I have Bellagio Fountain View for our second 2 nights. So for the Thursday and Friday night, we have a 2-queen Bellagio Fountain View, which will be pretty cool. And then like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got an email. I was like, "Hey, I've been assigned your marketing representative for Caesars Vegas. Here's an offer, 2 nights at, any property and $100 and this and that." And I'm like, "Can I stay at the new Vanderpump on Wednesday and Thursday of July 1st and 2nd?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So double booked at Vanderpump. We're going to see
double booked, James. Yeah. It's not Win this time.
It's not Win. No.
I retract my bingo.
I like you double booking a hotel that's like literally across the street. Like it's not like, oh, we're going to be, in this area, so I might as well get a hotel.
One good thing, I'm itinerizing right now the trip. And because we were going to be on a day we're moving where we'd have to check out at Circa at 11 and wouldn't be able to check in Bellagio till 4. Now we're actually have the Vanderpump room that I will check into the night before, so we'll be able to go to the Strip, drop our bags off. So it's still valuable.
I like it.
It is valuable, and I'll play a little bit. Probably not there with those pay tables.
And plus, you can do a room tour. You can say, "And that's the room I got."
And that's the room I got. So yeah, I'm excited to be there next week, and then maybe I'll be there 2 weeks after that. I don't know.
It'll be fun for me not to be on the chat thread, hearing all about it while you're out there.
I'm going to put you in every chat that I have next week until you block.
It's gonna be your work chat.
When James was cajoling me to join him and Duffy in July, I didn't know that was a separate trip from the dad trip. But it's always good to have some friends that are slightly more sick than you are, though. It makes you feel better about yourself.
Well, what happened was Duffy was like, "You should come out here," and I'm like, "I'm already going to be out there 2 weeks before."
And he said so?
Well, he did say so. Kim is at a bachelorette party in Palm Springs that weekend, and she was like, "Well, I could then just drive out to Vegas for the last 2 nights with you if you really wanted to go see Duffy." And I'm like, "Okay, then that's enough for me. That's enough for me to book that flight."
All right. Well, thank you for that succinct trip preview. It went only about as long as my trip report. So
about the same.
Yeah. So lastly, we'd like to thank some new patrons we've got in the last week since we've recorded. We've got Ben Olguin, a.k.a. friend of the pod Ben, a.k.a. Little Ultimate X Benny. We've got Red Chip Squad, a.k.a. Original David, and he recently put on that Vegas community meetup in lieu of a 360 Vegas vacation. So shout out to him for putting in that work. And then Jim from New York, favorite of the You Can Bet on That podcast, has found his way over here. So cool to see you're one of the handies as well.
Love it.
Okay.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for episode 26.
And if people wanted to become a patron, how could they find us?
They'll fucking figure it out.
Okay,
That's episode
fine.
26 of Handy at the Shandy. For Adam the Fraud and Table Games James, I'm Boring Jack, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
See you later.
Yippee-i-o.
Tip to taint.
Tip to taint? Jesus Christ. We're not leaving that in.